Welcome to the Dose of Good podcast, where we celebrate good people and organizations working to make the world a better place. It can be easy to get caught up in the bad things going on in the world and forget about the good happening all around us each and every day. I'm your host, Erin, and I want to share these stories with you and give them the attention they deserve. I hope this podcast educates and inspires you and maybe even motivates you to share a dose of good in your community. Now let's get into today's episode. Today's episode features the Circle program, which is, I guess you could call it a sister program to the Mayhew program. And Mayhew, as you will have known if you listened to the episode, was focused on boys. Well, the Circle program focuses on girls and their summer camp experience, their year-round mentoring, and they are having a very significant positive impact on young girls in New Hampshire. And they share some great stories about the success of these girls. So I hope that you will enjoy today's episode. I speak to Beth Dever, who is the Executive Director of the Circle program. So let's hear more from Beth. Today I'm here with Beth Dever, Executive Director of the Circle program. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. So what is the Circle program and what is the mission?
Absolutely. The Circle program has been in existence for 33 years, and it's a program for girls 9 to 18 in the Lakes region, greater Concord area. And they come to Circle program for a resident summer camp, a year-round programming, and mentorships.
What qualifies them for the program, and how do they apply, or are they referred to you?
Absolutely. The girls are referred to us by their elementary school counselors. So they come to us at between the 9 and 11 years of age and then stay with us. They are, all of them are on free and reduced lunch, and they are actually socially and economically disadvantaged. So they don't have a lot of opportunities that are out there for them. And that's why the summer camp and the mentorship really pulls opportunities for them to participate in.
Yeah, that's great. And what are the 6 C's of Circle? I noticed this on your website, and I'm wondering if you can explain a little bit about each.
Absolutely. The 6 C's have sort of grown throughout the 33 years. When we started, the program started with just a 2-week summer camp at a camp on Newfound Lake at the end of a season. And the trustees and the executive director really looked at how do we prepare our girls. So the 6 C's for us is confidence, competence, connection, character, contribution, and caring.
Okay.
And it's really sort of, as they start our program, we want to strengthen those characters and really have them be able to feel more foundationally strong and structured.
Okay.
We use, why I said it's sort of moved from one type of programming to another is that we actually have started using voice, choice, and value for our girls. So starting at 9 all the way to 18, they really have a voice in their program. They help design our camp. They help design their after-school programs monthly, and they really get to make choices. So every afternoon in camp, they get to choose what they do. They give suggestions, and then they also need to feel valued. So with that method, we really work on our 6 C's and strengthening them.
Going back to camp, can you tell us a little bit about the summer camp and what the opportunities are for different age groups?
Our ages are 9 to 11, 12 to 14, and 15 to 18. We offer 2 2-week sessions for our younger girls, the 9 to 11, And then our 12 to 14-year-olds come also for 2 weeks. Our 15 to 18-year-olds come for 1 week. And we really redesigned and renovated, I guess you could say, the 15 to 18-year-olds because we want them to stay with us. And it's hard when they become 15 to 18-year-olds. Most of our girls have to work. And so to make a choice of whether they come to camp and continue with the program. So 4 years ago, we made the decision to start an Eastward Bound summer camp program where the girls research the year before places in New England, and then they debate and they talk about where they might want to go, and then they all vote. And then they spend the year preparing and planning their entire summer camp, their 1 week summer camp with their counselors. So the first year they chose Lake George. The second year they went to Mystic, Connecticut. Last year they went to York, Maine. And this year they're going to Newport, Rhode Island. So they own it, and their leadership skills, their communication and critical thinking and problem solving really strengthens during that 15 to 18-year-old time frame, and they own it. And so they really, our numbers were low right at coming out of COVID for that age group, and we've tripled back our numbers. We're now at 21, and it's an exciting program to sort of build up and be able to then really plan your entire summer camp, travel camp.
Yeah, that's wonderful that they get that experience of not only the decision making, the planning, but also then getting to spend a week somewhere.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And our younger girls have sort of a typical summer camp. They swim every day and they get swim lessons. We have a low ropes course on the property, so they do a lot of team building. Our cabins have real no electricity, but it's powered by solar, so they have a light, but no plugins for electricity. It's unplugged, so they cannot bring their phones, and it's all about being in nature. We offer STEM activities, nature. We bring in leaders in the community for our evening programs around the campfires. So it could be art therapy. We've had someone come in and sing songs, talk about their profession. We've also had a number of local organizations that we work with. So the Newfound Lakes Region Association, the Audubon, Slim Baker, they come and do a lot of nature activities for us.
Oh, nice. Sounds like they get a lot of great experiences and a good variety. So when they're at camp, is it kind of the same every day? I mean, I know they're probably doing different activities and having different groups come in day to day, but is it they kind of like follow a routine, or how does that work?
They do. So there's a time they get up. There's a time that breakfast, lunch, and dinner happens. We always end our day with a gratitude circle. So we have gratitude stones, and so we end our day with a circle, and people get to say and share their gratitude stone with someone or a cabin or an activity. So really pushing what does gratitude mean to these girls, especially when they're coming from trauma and crisis situations. It's hard to mentally get out of that time, that thought process. So giving them skills and thinking about what is good in their life and at that moment. So, and then our mornings are always pretty much the same. They go between art, STEM, nature, and swimming. And then the afternoons is where we brought in the choice activities. So every afternoon is a different choice activity, and they get to sign in and pick in the morning what they want to do in the afternoon. And it ranges from the Gaga pit, which is a huge activity that they love, and it's like a dodgeball type of outdoor activity in a pit. We have disc golf. We have, like I said, the low ropes course. We have a quiet area, so if they just want to journal or read a book, listen to music, our art room is always open. Art is a big activity for most of our girls.
Good. Yeah, it sounds like a fun time. And I love, too, the gratitude circle in the evenings, because I think that's a skill that anyone can be working on and that more people could take time for. So the fact that you're teaching it to the girls at a younger age to kind of stop and reflect and say what was good about today or what they're grateful for, I think that's wonderful. Yeah. So you mentioned that there is a mentorship piece that happens year round. So even when they're not at camp, they have that mentorship. So how does that part work?
Our mentor program is 100% volunteer. So we look for women in the area that the girls come from, and they sign up. They go through a referral process themselves, and they have an onboarding. We pair them up with a girl that has some of the same activities that they like to do. If we also always have a mentor not travel more than 20 minutes away. So we ask them to meet their girl twice a month, and once a month we give an activity for each age group. So we plan an activity that we hope the mentor and the mentee comes to so that they all get to see each other again. Our girls come from 28 different school districts, so being able to make friends, it's hard to see them again during the school year. So seeing them monthly, they end up meeting their best friends at camp, and they get to then connect and be together. And so the mentors bring them to that activity, and then they find another activity to do or check in with them the other time in the month. So monthly they meet twice with their mentee.
That's wonderful, so they know they have someone they can rely on every month. They'll see them twice a month, that kind of thing, and have that check-in. Now, for the monthly events, what sorts of activities do they do for that?
We try to spread it out throughout the towns that we bring our girls. They don't always have to travel to one location. So we've had activities in Concord, which is at the swim club. It's a new business, the Gnomies place. So they came and built gnomes and fairy houses. They do indoor rock wall climbing in Tilton and Northfield. They go swimming at PSU and ice skating in Laconia. So throughout the years, monthly, it's changed a bit. We always ask the girls what they might like to do. They've gone to a movie at Smitty's. They've done laser tag. And they've also done cooking. So we went to Prescott Farms in Laconia, where they learned about farming and then making their own spaghetti from the vegetables from the farm.
Nice.
So we find different things that they don't get to do on a monthly or yearly basis.
Yeah, and it's nice, like you mentioned, not only that they get to see their friends, but having something to look forward to every month. Again, I think everybody needs that, something fun that's coming up that they can look forward to enjoying and all of that. So,
and we have a lot of support. Loon Mountain always every year gives us a day of skiing for mentors and girls, free tickets, and they give free rentals. So we also offer recreational activities that they might not be able to do, but we give them a step in to say, do you like it? Do you want to continue? And then the mentors can take it from there if they wanted to bring them skiing for another day. It's sometimes they're an introduction to maybe a lifetime hobby.
Yeah, that's great. Another aspect that you offer is helping, I think it's probably the older group of girls, but with like college and career readiness. So what does that entail?
We do a career fair once a year. We also have packets for mentors to sit and work with their teen for FAFSA, college applications, writing your first essay for a college visits. Our office is in Plymouth, so we've done Plymouth tours at PSU. And then we also work on making sure that they feel comfortable interviewing for their first job or looking for jobs in the area where they live. So it's more or less sort of starting out with what your summer job might look like at 14, 15, and 16, and then moving into what are your aspirations afterwards. A lot of our girls go to a 2-year college, an associate's degree. Lakes Region Community College it has been a great college for our girls. And then a number of them go for a 4-year degree. So,
that's great. Yeah, that they can get, again, that support and that experience, because if you've never had to do an interview before, it's not really a skill that you know how to implement, I guess, so that they can get that practice and that support. That's awesome. Yeah.
This year we added a layer for our college and career fair was that we worked with the girls prior and then made their first resume. So when they showed up for the day, we gave them a flash drive and then also a printed copy. And so when they went around to the different tables of career opportunities, they then broke into the afternoon in practicing their interviews and then
Oh,
being able to
nice.
hand their first resume to the person that they were interviewing with.
Oh,
And,
that's
and then
great.
they got to take the flash drive home and sort of work on updating it if they have a job
Sure.
or their first
Yeah.
time having a resume. So,
Yeah, that's great that you're
yeah.
giving them this experience. I also saw that they're required to take part in community service. So, is that for all ages, just a certain age group? And did they choose what they're doing, or is it kind of assigned to them?
We offer 6 community service projects during the year, and each girl has to participate in at least 3.
Okay.
And they usually are the same. We work at the New Hampshire Marathon. We do a trail maintenance for on Squam. We do a cleanup day back at camp, so they're giving back to the
Oh, nice.
program.
Yeah.
And then we've added a few others when people have reached out. We've done a senior meal for Meredith Rotarians. So during Christmas, we've helped serve and pick up plates. So it's a combination of new ones that come up and then the regular ones that were always on our calendar.
Okay. Okay, great. And just for my own curiosity, do you find that by having them do that, it kind of plants a little bit of a seed that maybe they want to do more in the future with community service and that stuff? Or
It does. You see it mostly at that 14 and 15-year-old timeline. Like, oh, what else can we do? That's
Yeah.
when they start saying, oh, would like to. They bake cookie. Would like to bake cookies for the senior home during the holidays. So,
Oh,
what
nice.
senior home do we want to take them to? Let's go caroling at a senior home.
Oh,
So
I love
they've
that.
been doing different acts. So they come up with the ideas
Oh,
when they
that's
get older.
great.
So and it's nice to hear their voice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome that they're having the idea themselves and kind of taking the initiative to say, well, we could also do this opportunity or that sort. That's really nice.
And
So.
many of our seniors end up having to have volunteer hours part of their high school graduation
Oh,
requirement.
okay.
And so it has helped them. We sign off on how many hours they need as a junior or senior. And so they start saying, oh, I've got to do like all of the ones that Circle
Yeah,
offers.
yeah,
So.
yeah. Oh, I love that. How did you get involved with the Circle program and what does your role entail?
Absolutely. I started, went to UNH. I'm a New Hampshire resident, went to UNH for Parks and Recreation and ended up getting my first job out of college right in the Newfound area as the community center director and really have been in youth development for over 35 years. When I had my kids, I turned to education and after-school programming, keeping kids safe in the after-school hours, and really personalized learning around kids having these skills for college and career readiness. When my kids graduated, I ended up doing that work across the country in D.C. and really about competency-based education and making sure kids felt comfortable when they graduated, that they had a plan and a dream. And missed New Hampshire. The
Oh,
city
yeah.
was a lot different in your
Oh,
older
sure.
years. It's
Yeah,
one thing to
yeah.
be down in the city when you've been a rural girl. And came back in 2018 and had worked with Circle program for kids in the Newfound area when I was there at the school district, and loved the mission and really believed that girls and young women need to find their voice, and they can find their voice early on, so they get to stand up for themselves. They get to really make decisions on their path and not have someone else make it for them. And I wish I had more of that when I was growing up.
Sure, yeah.
So it was just something that I really truly believed in. The mission was empowering, transforming, and enriching girls' lives, and it was through community connection and really the camps and mentorship programming. So it all fit for my belief. So I started in 2021 and am blessed every day that I get to work with the incredible staff and board and really with the girls and the teens in New Hampshire.
Oh, nice. Sounds like it's something you really love.
I
So,
do. I
yeah.
do.
Do you have any success stories that you'd like to share?
Many.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think when you look at a program and especially when you look at a camp program that is the foundation and the starting point for girls, it's really looking at do they want to come back and do a full circle that they believe it has helped and saved them or enriched their lives or given them a foundation. And we have a CIT program and a junior counselor program. So our teens start and can sign up. So right now we have 6 this summer that are actually coming and volunteering for 4 weeks to work with younger girls. We then open it up to becoming a counselor. So our counselors in the summertime come from a number of places. We use Camp America for international staff. We use a college platform for colleges across the country to bring in counselors from different college campuses. And then PSU and UNH in the local community, we have counselors. But then we have this about 10%, 5 to 10%, depending on the year, circle girls becoming circle counselors.
Nice.
And they just bring the tradition, they bring the real depth of what it's done for them,
Yeah.
and they get to feel really important in that role of sharing. And currently we have 3 circle girls that have now become mentors, and so
wow.
they are over 21. Our mentors have to be 21, and they're right now 22, 24, and 25, and they've come back and are mentoring a girl. And it's just an incredible, I think success-wise, it's just an incredible story to see that full
yeah.
circle of involvement.
Yeah, well, as you said, full circle, and I just love that it shows how much the program meant to them and had an impact on them, that they want to not only the ones that go on to be a counselor, but then even beyond that go on to be a mentor and help future girls. And also, I'm sure it's just a positive that they've had the experience, they've gone through it, so I'm sure the girls can relate to them a little bit in that way.
They
So,
can.
yeah.
They absolutely can. And then a couple other stories that I think bubble to the top is we have 52% of our girls come from a home that has substance or alcohol issues. They've lived in that environment. And so, and a lot of them are being brought up by a single parent or great-grandparents or an aunt and uncle, or they're in the system. And so having a mentor is sort of that solid piece, that checking in with them, seeing what they're feeling, guiding them when they're discouraged or they're sad. And so we had a girl that actually had been left alone at home. The parent that she was with wasn't coming back each night, and so for her mentor, it took 4 days for this girl to reach out. She didn't want to get her mom in trouble. She wanted to believe that her mom was coming back. No transportation. She was stuck out in the rural community. And she called her mentor after 4 days and said, I don't know what's happening. And it was a lifeline for her. And it was actually needed. We went in, we got her placed with another family member. We made sure that she was solid, and it really meant a lot that was the connection, that even though it took 4 days, because these kids really want to make sure that they, number one, taking care of their parent or a family member is really what they're going through, but to be able to have that mentor that they felt comfortable enough to say, I'm at a point that I do need help. So that's just one of many stories like that happen with our girls and our mentor relationships.
Yeah. Well, that's really important and shows the impact that the program has on them, but also the mentor. And I'm glad that it worked out that way, because I just think, well, if she hadn't had that mentor, what would she have done, kind of thing. So, yeah.
The last one is about organizationally.
Sure.
When we came out of COVID, we saw 8 of our 9 to 11-year-olds have suicide ideation, and they were brought to the hospital. And they talked about not wanting to live. They talked about hurting themselves. And at that point, we realized we believe in continuous improvement and always feedback and seeing what's working and what's not. And that group that year, we had 4 girls that had lost a caretaker. So whether it was they had been taken out of the home or someone had passed away, and it wasn't the right place for them to be gone from their family environment where they were grieving and be placed in sort of an overnight resident camp immediately. So we looked at our referral process and said, we want to make sure we're making sure that they're safe when they come with us, to us. And so we looked at our training. We now have 2 weeks of staff orientation for our camp counselors that revolve around mental health, suicide ideation, teen anxiety, so that our counselors are able to use the vocabulary and the practices to help these girls feel better. And then we've also worked with our guidance counselors to say, if there's been a drastic change in who's taking care of these girls, they need 12 months of just being able to have outside help and to be able to be at home and go through that change before being taken out of their home to live in a camp with all these other girls in these cabins and be able to express themselves safely. So we realized there was a need for us to change and be there more presently for each girl. And then we added telehealth. So if a girl is seeing a counselor, we believe it's just as important to be able to have that check-in during camp. So we opened up and making sure that parents feel comfortable letting us know they're in therapy. And then we say, wonderful, we have telehealth. If the camper and the counselor therapist wants to meet, we have an area that they can check in with them during the time that they're at camp. So
that's great.
It's really about the mental health of our girls.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you shared that, and it makes sense that they would need to feel that stability, and that if they aren't in that situation at the time, that going to camp might not be the best for them at that moment. And it sounds like you managed that very well. And then also just the fact of them being able to keep up with that mental health service that they might have during camp, instead of, especially if they, are meeting weekly or more than that, and to kind of just cut that off, I could see would not be beneficial to them. So, yeah. So you mentioned your mentors are volunteers. Do you have any other volunteer opportunities that you want to let people know about?
We do. We always have a cleanup day weekend in May. It's the weekend before Memorial Day, so we always have sign-ups to come and help open our cabins, do the yard work, clean the trails. We also have the same in the fall, so we end up closing camp. So we look for volunteers to help close camp. We do tours during the summer, so it might not be volunteers to do something, but we love to open up our camp and have people come and see our camp, have lunch with the girls and the teens during camp season.
Yeah.
And then we also offer, if a business or a group is looking, at the end of August, our camp stays empty, and we do cleaning, we do maintenance, but it sits empty for about 4 weeks where it's still nice weather. And so we love to work with businesses or organizations that if they wanted to come and use it as a retreat or a training opportunity. We're just wanting more people to see our lovely space. We're on a little pond in Groton, New Hampshire, not a lake, and it's just a extremely special, secluded, in the woods environment.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity for some businesses out there, or groups, or that kind of thing.
And we do volunteer. We look for volunteers for the career fair, of course, to come in and talk about their passion and their career choice.
Yeah.
And then also evening programs. So we'll have community leaders come in and do a program around the campfire during the summer season.
Oh, nice. Yeah, lots of great opportunities for people. And I don't know if we mentioned it, but if someone is interested in becoming a mentor, do they just reach out to you? Do they go through your website? How do they can start that process?
3 different ways. There's a form on the website that they can fill out, and it goes directly to our coordinator, our mentor coordinator. They can call our office, 603-536-4244, or they can actually email Lisa at circleprogram.org, and she then will reach out and talk to the person that's interested.
Oh, great.
And we are always looking for mentors. We get about 15 to 20 new girls every year, so we're always looking for new mentors.
Sure.
And it's been harder since after COVID. So a lot of volunteers want to give a day or a couple of volunteer instead of the commitment.
A whole year commitment. Yeah.
Right. So it used to be 2 years.
Or I was going to say it's more than a year because they probably follow the girl through the.
Right.
Okay.
So we used to ask, give us 2 years of commitment, and we realized that was a struggle after COVID. COVID. So we asked them to give us 1 year. And what we find is they stay with them. So
Oh,
unless they're
okay.
moving on or, unless
Yeah.
it's been that the girl stops coming or something like that,
Yeah.
90% of our mentors stay with the girl from
Oh,
early
that's
on and through
nice.
the teen years.
Again,
So.
for the girls to have that consistency and, um, I mean, with it being twice a month, I think if people plan for it, it doesn't, it's almost something they can look forward to kind of thing. So,
Many of
yeah.
our mentors will say, we started it because we thought we were going to change a girl's life, and it ended that they changed ours. And
Oh,
we hear that time and time and time again. And it doesn't have to be 8 hours for one of those days.
yeah.
It can be an hour. It can be 2 hours. We have mentors that love to hike, mentors that love to cook. They might love reading, so they go to a library for an hour or two, or bring an activity and do a craft festival. So it's all different things that people can do in all different time frames. So it's not a commitment that you have to give 2 full days a month.
Okay, yeah.
It's really the touch points and being there. That's the
Yeah.
important piece.
Yeah. Do you have any, so I know you mentioned your career event, but do you have any other events or fundraisers that you want to make sure people know about?
So we have a big one. And I know you had Peter from Mayhew on, and
Yes.
so, but Peter Mayhew we were actually modeled after the Mayhew
Oh, okay.
model.
Yeah.
And so we have started really collaborating for fundraising. We realize that
Oh,
many people out there want to see girls and boys have the
right.
same experience or similar experiences. So this will be our second year on Saturday, August 15th. We're doing a Ride for a Purpose, a motorcycle ride.
Oh,
And
nice.
the Laconia Harley Shop, located in Meredith, is sponsoring the ride. We'll start there. We're going past both camps, and we're
Oh,
doing a
fun.
poker run. So there'll be three stops, and end with a grill and chill that day. And so if there's any motorcycle riders out there
Yeah.
that would love to participate, they can sign up and participate.
Well, there should be a lot in New Hampshire because
know,
I know
right?
I see them driving all around.
That's right. And this
so-
week is motorcycle week.
Oh, is
so,
it?
yes,
Okay.
so we're hoping that some will sign up this week. So.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then we are and I don't know if I mentioned this, but the girls participate 100% tuition free. There's no charge for these families. And so our budget is $776,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's one of my responsibilities, is to raise that every year. And so
Okay.
we have a spring appeal, a fall appeal. We have a donate button on our website, www.circleprogram.org. And we about 50%, 60% of our donations come from individuals, and they
Okay.
donate to contribute to the program.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
very
yeah.
important.
I know it is so important for nonprofits, so I like to make sure people know how they can get involved, but if there are any big events they can participate in, or just where to donate, all that kind of stuff. So
Thank you
I'll
for
make sure to
asking.
put your website and all that.
That'd be
so,
wonderful.
Oh, yeah. And is there anything else that you'd like people to know about the Circle program that we maybe haven't talked about?
So we are in a really exciting opportunity this year. Out of that $776,000, I do write grants. So $200,000 of that comes from foundation grants. And this past year, we wrote a grant for the American Camping Association around character education, and we were one of 72 across the country that received a planning grant.
Oh, great.
And so we're in the middle of planning to strengthen 3 character education pillars. And we've chosen gratitude, leadership, and self-regulation. And why we chose those 3 is that we believe we already support gratitude in ending our day, and we want to be more intentional. We want them to see the levels of gratitude, so they want to give back at community service when they're able to do that on their own and when they graduate from high school.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to be able to plan their entire trip when they're 15. So leadership needs to start at 9. Like, what does that look like
sure,
at the age bands? And then when I started in 2021, we did an evaluation. I asked for an outside evaluator. And one of the things that bubbled to the top was that girls, because of COVID, felt really isolated and couldn't communicate. And so a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression. And so self-regulation, of being able to regulate your feelings, we really believe starts right at 9 years of age. And so we are digging deep on what does that look like for our program, and being able to give them more strengths and more foundation and tools at each level to be able to take a breath, to be able to see themselves, be able to describe their feelings or their triggers. So we have big posters that they can just quietly get up from an activity if they're feeling overwhelmed in the corner and color. So some examples. We have a quiet place that we call the camper break room. So instead of a staff break room, we have a break room for campers, and it's named the same way as the staff, so they feel like, oh, we're just like the staff.
yeah.
And they get to just quietly listen to music and then say, I'm ready to go back and take a breath. And so it's our planning process. We've been doing it with an outside consultant right now, and then we report out and really hope that we get one more grant to implement all of the curriculum development that we're doing.
Yeah, that would be great. I hope you get it too. And I love the fact that you have that little break room for them, because it's good for them to have that if they're feeling overwhelmed, or like, I just need to take a minute to myself. They know they have that option, and it's not going to be like a big deal if they step away and take that moment for themselves. And then, like you said, when they feel ready, they can come back and that kind of thing. So,
And the board did vote on this year that we have a social worker that is on property 5 days a week there for them, the campers, plus our counselors. Our counselors are young. They're 18 to 23 usually. And
yeah.
so having a social worker part of our summer camp, counselor positions is going to be a huge plus for us this year.
Oh, yeah, that does sound like it would be definitely a plus. And I didn't even think of the counselor aspect, but I'm sure it's a challenging position for them at times, especially with all that these girls are probably facing, So, yeah.
Yeah, and living with them, 24/7
Yeah.
in small, hot cabins.
Right, right. Oh, that I didn't even think about that. The fact they only have lights, that means
That's
they
right.
are hot.
It's
Yeah.
very
No air
hot.
conditioning.
No air conditioning.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah. And heat can make people cranky at
Yes,
times.
it can.
So,
Yes, it
yeah.
can.
Yeah. And so you shared some great success stories. And so this may be too similar, but I don't know if you have a specific story of a individual that their life has been transformed by the work that you do.
Well, I think the one that I had mentioned before about
Okay.
reaching out to the mentor,
Yeah.
she ended up moving out of our catchment area. But for us, that wasn't a problem. Like,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
made sure that she keeps coming back, and
Oh,
she
good.
does keep coming back. And
Oh,
and her
nice.
aspirations are, she's a senior this year, so keeping her as a senior and in the program. She's a leader. She's it's 4 years now that she's been actually one of the 4 that started the new Plan Your Own Summer Eastward Bound camp.
Oh, okay.
So she's gone to Lake George. She's done the Connecticut one and
Oh,
York one, and she'll be
nice.
doing the Newport one. But she's become a leader in the development of the camp throughout the year with her camper mates.
Okay.
And her drive and dream is to be a forensic, to be a police officer,
Oh,
and
wow.
to be able to help others. And so
Yeah.
she's extremely driven and extremely appreciative for the opportunity. And it's been a great story.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And we have a number of them. So it's sort of like
Oh,
when you
good.
mentioned
Yeah.
that, you might be asking, I just, there's a lot of our girls that have become incredible women and have the ability to make these decisions of the direction they want to go in. And we have another girl that is graduating this year, going to UNH and in art therapy, and wants to be a social worker. So
Oh, wow.
it will be an incredible opportunity for them.
How amazing it is that through this experience, that's just 2 examples, but they're going toward career paths that are wanting to give back and help other people,
Yes.
So that just shows the positive influence you're having on these girls. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then just to kind of give ideas for future guests, but also kind of share the love amongst all of the nonprofits, can you recommend either another nonprofit or just someone you know as an individual that's doing great things in their community?
I would love to recommend the Tapley Thompson Community Center in the Newfound area. They're a nonprofit, but and it's really their recreation department for 7 towns in the Newfound area,
Okay.
and they have been doing the work for over 100 years, and it's just an incredible opportunity for sports and programming. They have a building and just purchased a second one, and families come for activities. They have after school and summer camp, and it's an incredible space for
Yeah.
families. And they always have scholarships and being able to be open for other programs to come in and help families in that area to thrive.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to check them out. And if you know, the director there or somebody, it always helps to have a contact to connect
Yes.
with. So, yeah.
Les Dion and Dan McLean.
Okay,
So, yes.
great. Thank you.
Welcome.
And then the final question, what does kindness mean to you? And can you share an example of kindness that you've experienced or witnessed, whether it's with the Circle program or just in your everyday life?
I think working for a nonprofit, your life, especially as an executive director, is overwhelming. There's so much on your shoulders, and you feel like you might be running on a treadmill. And one of the reasons in 2018 I came back was to be close to my parents that were aging, and many individuals nowadays are taking care of parents that have health issues. And so the last year and a half, my dad was going through a lot of health issues. And for a nonprofit, sometimes that could be really overwhelming to be able to stay in your job and keep it going. And I am just so proud of the organization of Circle Program and the board and the staff that we are a team, and we believe that your personal life is just as important as your work life. And even though we're working all these hours, that we look at each other in the eye saying, okay, let us know where you need the help. Like, who can step in? What do you need from us? And so I was able to experience that back this year during the last 8 months. And it was just for leadership to be that kind, knowing you have all these deadlines and these fundraising programs, that it says a lot for kindness, and it ends up being practiced at the highest level, and it trickles down. So being able to then be kind to the campers and patient. And so I think being kind actually is something that when you role model it from all levels of family, community, and organization, it actually pulls everybody together.
Yeah.
And so kindness for me means what you show. You might not see it right away, but it does happen, and it does trickle down, and people turn around and practice it in other ways.
Yeah, I love that. And it's wonderful to hear that, because it can be hard. Life balance is hard to begin with, balancing work, family, whatever else you've got going on. And so to hear that through Circle Program, you had that support of the people around you just kind of being like, we got you. We know these things have to get done, but we know you've got this going on in your life. And instead of, I can imagine at many jobs, they would make it only harder for you by being like, well, that's not our problem. You need to be here and take care of this. And instead, they did the opposite, and they're really, it sounds like a family almost, like they're really there to support you and back you up and all of that. And I think that the world needs more of that. So,
I agree, especially now, I think. So,
yeah,
yep,
definitely.
I do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you,
today.
Erin.
It was lovely talking to you and learning about the Circle program. And it sounds like you're having a profound impact on girls and really making their lives better. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you for highlighting us.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode and learning more about the Circle program. I know I certainly enjoyed today's discussion and getting to really feel the impact that they're having and hear about some of the good going on in our world. That's my goal for this podcast, is that it gives you more hope. It leaves you feeling inspired and maybe just a little bit better about the world and humanity, and maybe even motivates you to get more involved in your community and to give back. And if you'd like to share with me the good going on in your community, I would love to hear about it and share it on the podcast. You can email me at doseofgoodpodcast@gmail.com. You can also just send me your ideas for future episodes. I would love that feedback. And also be sure to follow Dose of Good Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And also subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe where you listen to podcasts. If you haven't yet, please leave a rating. That way you will help to share the podcast with more people, so more people around the world can have a dose of good in their day. I thank you so much for listening or watching and supporting the podcast. And until the next episode, I hope you have a wonderful day.